We need to move.
These people are gone.
And more will follow if the Didact reaches Earth.
They'll pair you with another AI. Maybe even another Cortana model if Halsey lets them.
That's not going to happen.
It won't be me. You know that, right? Spinning up a broadsword in Hangar C-11. Whatever the librarian did to you obviously worked.
Cortana. It's not over. Not yet.
Not yet.
Hello everybody, this is JP3 here, bringing you another entry in our Halo 4 Legendary playthrough. We're on mission number 7, Composer. Composer happens to be one of my absolute favorite missions in the entirety of the franchise. Perhaps definitely my favorite mission in the Halo 4 campaign. I enjoy the action, the combat, the frantic nature of the situation that we face, and I believe the cutscenes are just top-notch. They're dripping with all kinds of symbolism, and even though I won't get into any of that at all, if you are down on Halo 4 or maybe forgot about this mission, I'd suggest you go back and play it, or maybe play through the campaign and really pay attention, because there's a lot of really, really good stuff that occurs from top to bottom, from start to finish. But we're going to focus on gameplay here. We start out having crashed the Lich into the station here. And so I run over here and fill up pistol ammo there, run out, and I go and grab this hologram here, run to grab the hologram, and then run out here and prepare for combat with the Covenant. This is a Covenant-only mission. Sometimes you can headshot that jackal as he's flying by, but other times it's good to just crack his skull. It's kind of a luck shot if you nail it, really. These guys are completely unnecessary to shoot. I don't even know if they play a part in anything. It almost feels like more of a little set piece there, but maybe, I don't know, maybe some scientists take them out before you have a chance to get over to them. So as soon as you take some of the heat off, you want to get rid of that jackal up there with the carbine. And then you want to get rid of these guys that are festooning this area. There's a grunt that usually hangs back over there. He shows his face a little bit early. By the way, the hologram in Halo 4 sucks. There's no reason at all why they should have changed it from the hologram in Reach, which would typically go further, but I digress. I like to come up here and use the natural geometry of these, this ramp and those railings and all that stuff to take care of those two Jackal snipers. It's hard to trick this guy on Legendary because, they're robots, and this game does not allow you to flank anybody, because I guess that would make it too easy, if you could use strategy. But anyway, gameplay issues aside, I really do love this mission. And my love for these missions in Halo 4, the ones that I do enjoy a lot, usually and most definitely and largely will come from experiences not playing it on Legendary and or for a deathless video of this ilk. So, it's hard to love whenever those are the objectives. So I might gripe and complain here and there, but in all reality, it's really good. Now, I like to go and stay down here. If you stay down here, you limit the amount of enemies that are going to be facing you. If you go up top, though, like in some path to get those Jackal Snipers beam rifles, then there's like elites waiting down there for you. I'm really not sure why that is. That changes, but I know one thing's for sure is it can't even remotely be construed as some sort of skip, because either way is perfectly viable and normal. The way I went actually gives me a chance to get more sticky ammunition, sticky grenade, sticky detonator ammunition. So notice how I used the sticky detonator there to get rid of that dropship's spawn. If you notice beforehand, I took out the grunts on the turrets first. This guy was a little bit trickier to take out, but that's okay as long as we have time to, you know, do a little bit of this. Just remember that that grenade isn't going to do the damage that it should. The kind of damage that the sticky detonator does. It'd be nice if the grenades did that. I mean, you can only get 2 of them and hold 2 of them at once. So you're definitely on a timer here with respect to enemies spawning in, and it's really nice to get ahead of the game so you can snipe that guy and then just start sniping these guys, particularly these jackal snipers, and so they aren't able to come down and cause you any trouble. Now this guy, for some weird reason, has a very powerful shield, even though, I don't know why that's weird. That's not really weird, actually. Cortana says to go and raise the shields, but that's near suicidal because the developers didn't learn from Halo 2, 3, ODST, or Halo Reach that, you know, grunts on turrets show no mercy and seem to have really no accuracy penalty whatsoever, no matter what distance they're firing at you from. And so don't go do that on this difficulty level in any way, shape, or form unless you're speedrunning and know exactly what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying it's the smartest thing in the world, but I'd go ahead and get rid of the sticky detonator there. I usually am out or close to out anyway, and I grab a needler for some of the close range encounters you'll have here. Again, throwing a grenade. That guy got stuck with a grenade and got a frag grenade right in his face, and he still survived. So, you know, again, really nothing else to do except for stand back and shoot everything at range. Somehow this jackal miner survived a sticky grenade that was thrown right at his feet. Well, they call it a Halo of Duty, and your best bet is to play this more like Call of Duty most of the time. And I run out of ammunition there because I forgot to go and fill it up before I came in this room. Maybe perhaps in too much of a hurry. So I improvised here and came up here where I knew a DMR happened to be. And yes, a sticky detonator would have worked better there, but again, I'm used to being out or only having one left, and so I usually get rid of it. The needler usually has more applications and kills more people than the sticky detonator typically will, for me at least, but again, not here so much. It looks like that would have been the way to go. So feel free to give that strat another look. Now you should take the beam rifle out of here. Again, totally optional. You can take whatever weapon you feel the most comfortable with. So 4 grunts come down there. Usually all it takes is killing 1 or even shooting at them and they'll run back up here and for some reason lose all sight of what they were here to do in the first place. Again, I have a stupid hologram that just serves to draw fire from potentially a concussion rifle wielding elite, because again, for some reason they had to change the programming on that. I really have no idea why. I don't know if that was an intentional nerf of the hologram that we saw there, but that guy can take 3 headshots. So make sure you land, you know, I mean, you can hit him in the body with those and then just finish him off with the beam rifle or DMR. The beam rifle usually serves me well there, and you don't always get that high rank of an elite there, but we did, of course. And I would give my right arm if I was up here alone, because, you know, that jackal would just behave normally, at least normal in the sense of what I would expect him to do when he's trying to kill me. But I had a buddy there, and that kind of threw the programming into a bit of a tizzy. So go down there and grab that sticky detonator if you so desire, and come in here and you'll have a bit of a leg up on these hunters, or at least you should. I didn't play this particularly well, but That's probably because there was kind of a strange occurrence that occurs. I mean, not weird or... But it was definitely a lower probability thing, I would argue. This hunter... The hunters usually... So when you come in here, they usually do what enemies do on legendary difficulties. They stay over here with you. But instead, this hunter decides to go off and attack a bunch of helpless scientists, like the bastard pile of worms that he is. I can't hit him effectively. I think I killed a scientist there. So, you know, again, not normal. Usually they focus on you. But this one ran all the way the hell over there, prolonging the inevitable. So get some more sticky detonator ammo there, and press this button whenever it's green.
Cortana, door controls.
Tilson's inside the door over there.
Alright, so here you will come out and you'll get a chance to take a look at the composer and to some degree the space station that is housing it up close. You can look around. There's some interesting information. I think a terminal in here. Yes, there's a terminal in here. And I don't know, some of the Marines around have funny lines.
What was that?
But we're not stopping and smelling the roses here. If you go to your left, there's some extra sticky detonator ammunition in there. But of course we don't need it. And you probably shouldn't need it, but if you do, it's over there. It's a good thing to pick up if you're coming from like Rally Point Bravo, I think. I'm not real familiar with the rally points, to be honest with you. I've never understood at all why this guy was just sitting there on his ass. I mean, I understand we all need rest and every once in a while a break, but I mean, dude, the station is literally under attack and you're sitting there on your ass. Weird. This guy does not care about the hologram. He is not fooled at all. So, you know, prepare for stuff like that. It just doesn't work the way it used to in Reach when it was a mildly effective, well, actually it was really effective in the couple of parts where I like to use it. Mainly one part. So take out that Jackal Marksman after you take out the two Shield Jackals, the two Grunts, and then you can sometimes squeeze it in there. But, you know, again, ever since Reach, maybe even 3, the geometry seems to be 3 times bigger than it looks. And so we get in some trouble here. Because, you know, this game is filled with robots. And they were so ready to shoot at me when I popped out there for like a second to fire that sticky detonator around into their midst there. And of course the Elite didn't die, because why would, you know, the game reward you for that? Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Don't get the stupid freaking hologram. It's worthless. It's completely worthless. So for this first room like this, I come up here and I just take care of these guys as they're coming out of the airlocks. Makes this really, really easy. You just have to definitely take care of that Elite ASAP. And, well, of course, everybody else. And make sure none of the Grunts decide to make this really not fun and suicide. I go ahead and switch out for the carbine there because I have a lot more shots with it. So when I come to this section here, you want to definitely just tap this Elite if at all possible. I usually like to throw a sticky into that midst there, and then if I can, well, I'm not sure why didn't throw one over there pretty fast, but I missed that Elite's leg there. And it looked like that Jackal got away, but I don't believe he did. So when this door opens, come in here and refill on sticky ammunition. I went ahead and got the turret, but I don't think I ever even used it. I just know for sure, when I'm playing this at least, I knew one thing was for certain, that the hologram was useless. I'm pretty sure I made good use of it before, but, you know, unfortunately I think here I was trying to use it more like I did in Reach. And, you know, having that expectation was causing me problems. So, again, go for the elite first, then the marksman that's up here, if at all possible. Get rid of him. And then, just keep using the sticky detonator. And as soon as this guy comes down, because he almost always has to suicide, at least one of them does. These guys, I do a little jump there to make sure they're not doing the same exact thing. And then, whenever I get the chance, go ahead and try to take care of this group coming out of the airlock. And if I kill them all, then I come down here and release them the fun way. So this is the second airlock. The first one's to the left. That's what released when we came down here, or before we came down here, so it should go in order. Every time the button goes green, just go up and press it, and presto, they all go flying off into the vacuum of space. Not really sure how they got here. I don't see anything helping them get in there, but whatever that was, it's not there anymore. I guess I was wrong. This seemed to go out of order just then. It went from 1 to 3, so I don't know. Just do as you see and not as I say, perhaps. I don't know. And that's it for that part. So, since I've only got one of these stickies left, I might switch it out for a different weapon. Yeah, there we go. Full needler, full carbine. That is not a bad setup at all. So, because of the decisions made with Halo Reach, this does not instantly kill an elite, even a camo elite, which traditionally has had the weakest shields of the elites that we run into. Again, I don't know if maybe they thought that was just too easy for the player. I personally think the easiest thing to do is to stand back and shoot everything from range, which is, as it turns out, the most effective thing in Halo 4.
We're rigging it now. Meet us back on the upper platform and we'll help you get it to the artifact.
I always forget to get Cortana. At least for a couple of seconds there. I think she does get worried about that.
Chief, if we pull this off and actually...
So of course I could have just as easily shot those guys, but I've just got a soft place in my heart somewhere for getting grenade sticks for kills. You know, because that was something that you had to really learn how to do in Halos 1 and 2, and to some degree 3. But once you learned it, it was a really nice way to kill enemies. But it definitely required a different set of inputs, of course, and a different skill set relative to just sitting back and shooting things where the reticle's pointing. You had to do something just... Oh, I did use the turret. How about that? I think the main reason I used it there is just to find out if there were enemies left over, because, of course, Halo 4 has to have this shimmer everywhere, this thing that's more fit for a movie than it is for, you know, the eyesight of an augmented Spartan with a polarizing visor.
They found the composer.
Alright, so this is the vaunted Mantis section of this level. Sometimes I'll sit down there and shoot the grunts and jackals with the DMR, you know, to prevent being like overcharged and grenaded or sniped, but I gotta admit, I think that's more dangerous than this. I don't know why at any given point I thought that was the safest way to go. And it has been, as has been customary in my playthroughs for these series, I am one kill away from a Killionaire and just missed it. So in my opinion, I think the best place to set up is either where we were just at, which is perfectly fine. I used to do that and still do it sometimes if this doesn't work over here as well as I want it to. Or you can come over here, and this rock can give you pretty decent cover because it doesn't seem like a lot of the aggression that you'll have to worry about comes from the left. It tends to come more from the right and straight ahead. Except for the Banshees, but, you know, they're coming from above, so it really doesn't matter what direction they're coming from, per se, you know.
Another wave.
So we'll get to that part, and I'll tell you what I usually do to try to keep cover from them. So, fortunately, I guess, for the player, there's a couple of glitchy elements to this part that you can take advantage of that you have no control over. They're not glitches you cause, they're just glitches that exist. One is that the first Wraith, I believe it's the first Wraith that's dropped off, gets stuck over there, and the only way that he gets unstuck is if you shoot him unstuck. Sometimes that's not something that's possible either. So if you see a red over there and you're not getting any kills, it's probably that you're shooting at that Wraith and hitting it, but it's not a threat to you the way another Wraith will be that we'll see in just a little bit. This one right here is a massive threat, so make sure you make every shot count, because behind you is a random and completely useless abyss that sometimes you will find yourself at risk of falling into if you're backing away from or trying to otherwise dodge those Wraith mortars, which are pretty devastating to the Mantis. As you would imagine they should be. So I'm hitting geometry there because, again, it's got to be 2 or 3 times thicker or wider or whatever than it actually looks. I don't know what that really means. I'm not saying the rock is 2 or 3 times bigger, but I don't know. It just, you know, it just is what it is, man. So these ghosts are definitely a terror, but not quite the same terror that an elite with a storm rifle might be, or an overcharging grunt or jackal. The Banshees can be kind of nasty too, but they generally keep their distance and don't swarm. I've got one that's close to me here that somehow made it to this point. The rockets theoretically will track if you have red reticle, or even sometimes if you don't, and shoot them at the Banshee in question. But, you know, big emphasis on the word sometimes there. It's if that's what's actually supposed to happen in some major way, then if there's, you know, more of a light track to it, then it works just fine. But if it's, again, supposed to be some major component or advantage of this weapon, then it's broken as hell. And you'll see that time and time again. I'm usually using the machine gun to take out the Banshees. And if a rocket does work, it's probably because the Banshee was coming right at me or going right away from me. But I gotta admit, I have noticed much better tracking of that rocket on the lower difficulties, so it could just be one of those, the trackingness of those rockets is just one of those, you know, knobs they twisted for the legendary difficulty, just cranked it down to a much lower level, the trackiness, if you will, just to make it a little more difficult and feel just a little more unfair than it already does. Someone should tell 343, and someone should have told Bungie, you know, after Halo Combat Evolved, that, you know, legendary difficulty doesn't equal unfairness. So at some point when these Phantoms start coming in, I believe it's this point now, you will have grunts on these side turrets, and they, as you would imagine, are massively overpowered in terms of their accuracy and ability to take your shields down. Fortunately, we have a really healthy Mantis here, so even if it did take our shields down, it's probably not going to destroy our armor before we can get into cover. So I shot that Wraith loose, apparently, but it is just sitting there like a knot on a log. I'm not really sure if the... No, yeah, the driver must have still been alive because there were 3 figures that came up there. One for the turret guy, one for the driver, and one for the Wraith itself. Go figure. So I just shot a grunt off a turret, I believe that is, or I shot a turret. That's really important to be wary of as you finish out the stage. I usually take this exact path and make sure everything's dead. There's Banshee remarkably left over. I don't think that's normal. And again, it didn't dodge the tracking rocket. It just went in a different direction, and it was and so it became ineffective. But yeah, there was some kind of red over there that may have been a grunt on the turret, but right before I got attacked by the Banshee, I might have taken the turret off or something. I'm not really sure. But the turret can rip you up really fast, the human turret. Especially the armor. So it can take your shield down about as fast as the plasma cannon, but it will rip through your armor if my memory serves. So definitely be wary of that as you make your final trek around the base to the end of this level. And I usually get out right here, parking the Mantis right there, just in case there's something else out there. Maybe it will serve as cover as I run away from it. So we're essentially done with the combat of this level. The rest of it is cinematics, and so I will let that play and stay quiet until the outro.
Chief, immense Casimir wave building outside the atrium.
Anything you see me do right now is totally and utterly just... it's just me doing things. None of this is important. I mean, is there a part of me that would like to believe that somehow, some way, this lowly Spartan laser, wielded by this lowly Spartan, could somehow stop the composer by shooting it 4 times in that eye? Yes. Is there some part of me that believes that one day, somehow, some way, that might work? No comment.
Wilson, Sandra Kay, female, 51 years of age, doctor of archaeology, Pegasi Institute. Got her. Biosignature stable on 350 level. B deck.
Thank you, Cortana.
And that is it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the performance. I certainly hope you enjoyed this level. If you do not, then I, again, as I said before, advise you to maybe go back and play it. Play it on normal difficulty if you haven't played this game in a while, or on heroic if you still want a little bit of that challenge. And really soak it all in. Don't skip through the cutscenes. It's, again, one of my favorites. Please use the comments section to discuss your thoughts on the level, your thoughts on the performance. You can certainly provide criticism, critique, any kind of constructive help I need. I would certainly be appreciated. And of course, I take compliments and enjoy them like everybody else if they are earned. Please like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and hit that notifications bell if you have not already. That way you will be notified, of course, whenever new content is released or when I stream. But as for now, this is JP3 signing out. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you very, 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 very much for watching. Goodbye.